See you tomorrow.
Good night, you guys. See you tomorrow.
Great job, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Robert Krajcik here in Ottawa, Ontario for Rebel News at the conclusion of the 6th day of the trial for Tamara Lich and Chris Barber. Lich is being charged with mischief, obstructing police, and counseling others to commit mischief and intimidation in relation to her role as one of the Freedom Convoy's primary organizers. For those needing a refresher, the Freedom Convoy was easily one of the largest human rights and civil liberties demonstrations in modern history, where tens of thousands of Canadians protested on and around Parliament Hill in opposition to mRNA injection mandates, the so-called vaccines, and restrictions on their freedoms imposed upon them within the framework of so-called public health. The demonstrations drew Canadians from across the country and took place in the early winter months of 2022. Two major takeaways from today. Something occurred to me during the first half of proceedings today in which I realized that based on testimony from police officer witnesses that were called by the prosecution, it's obvious that a criminal investigation was launched by the Ottawa Police Service into the Freedom Convoy, presumably related to Tamara Lich and Chris Barber, presumably others, before the conclusion of the convoy itself, no later than February 14th. That means that the government had some sense of what it wanted to do in terms of criminal prosecution before the Freedom Convoy was put down by law enforcement via force. The second major takeaway is that the prosecution is continuing to play videos that it collected from the internet, primarily so-called social media sites, Rumble, YouTube, other sorts of video sharing sites that were produced by Tamara Lich, Chris Barber, and some of their allies in the Freedom Convoy demonstration. And the emphasis is as it's been in previous days that we've seen. Lich and Barber continually emphasizing, maintaining that their supporters should come down to Ottawa and demonstrate with the Freedom Convoy, but remain peaceful, maintain the atmosphere of love and unity. They kept using those words over and over and over. And that emphasis is in direct contradiction to the prosecution's description of the Freedom Convoy in its opening statement of being, quote, anything but peaceful. In one video, Tamara Lich is quite emotional. She's tearful as she reflects on the moving experiences that she had during the convoy. People coming together to oppose tyranny. She's lamenting what she describes as an erosion of fundamental rights and freedoms in Canada as a function of government abuses. She lists out specifically that the government is abusing people's freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. She used the words censorship. And she even implores supporters of the Freedom Convoy to maintain love and kindness towards detractors, whether they be in the so-called mainstream media, whether they be abusive law enforcement officers, even Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. At one point she said that Justin Trudeau has 3, quote, beautiful children, and that it's untoward or crude for those holding up these signs that would say F Trudeau. And she asked for supporters of the Freedom Convoy to pray and ask for forgiveness for those who are doing wrong.
I did my video because regardless of how angry we are with the lack or the leadership that we've seen, the divisive rhetoric, the division between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated that I've seen come from elected officials, civil servants, towards their own people. And I saw those flags one day, and I kept thinking, I got to get to the stage and make a speech. Like I felt that I needed to get there, and I needed to just say, you know, Mr. Trudeau has 3 children, and I have 3 children, and my kids have to wake up and see this stuff on social media too. Actually, when I was arrested, my 19-year-old daughter woke up to read an article that I hung myself in jail. She's 19.
For those who want to stay in touch and stay on top of our coverage, please go to tamaratrial.com. And we were fortunate enough to speak with some observers and we'll share those videos with you now. So we're here with Ashley. Ashley, fair to describe you as a concerned citizen?
Absolutely. I would definitely describe myself that way.
So, Ashley, we bumped into each other this morning. You were in the courtroom this morning. You observed the proceedings. And I'm wondering what your takeaways were of the day itself. And also, you told me that you had been here at least at some point for the Freedom Convoy. And maybe you can share your recollections, your description of the atmosphere, the vibe, and how that might contrast with the way the prosecution described it as, quote, anything but peaceful. So what did you think of the day's proceedings?
Well, thus far, I would have to say that I found the judge to be fair, which is positive in my opinion, and I hope that we continue to see that. But my experience with the Freedom Convoy and coming to Ottawa, I brought my children many times. We were here for most of it. It was amazing. The atmosphere was very friendly. It was very safe. I loved to see how so many people from different parts of the community had gathered, and it was respectful. I never felt unsafe, so much so that I continued to bring even my small children, even when the Emergency Act was invoked. And I would just have to say it was wonderful experience, not just to see that we could all gather for, I don't know, a protest but we could gather and we can unite, and it was such a friendly, safe environment. And I don't think that that is being accurately portrayed in the courtroom yet, but hopefully that will come out.
We don't really know where the Crown's going with this case. I really think it's fair to say that no one, perhaps even the Crown, knows where they're going with this case, and that's a fair assessment. But as far as these videos go, we're seeing specifically Tamara, this is not a trial of the Freedom Convoy, it's a trial of Tamara Lich and Chris Barber. And in these videos, video after video, we're seeing Tamara Lich calling for peace, calling for calm, calling for making decisions out of love in her heart. And in one of the videos, with tears in her eyes, she's talking about the F Trudeau flags. And she's talking about Trudeau's 3 beautiful children, her words. And she says, he has 3 children, just like I have 3 children. And every time you fly that flag, think about his children. As whatever as he is, pray for him even. She asked people to pray for Trudeau as he was imposing his tyranny on the Canadian people. That is, to me, a demonstration of the good of her character and the goldenness of everything that she stands for. If you can forgive like that, knowing that tomorrow you're probably going to jail, as she said, going to a place with 3 square meals a day, can you get, in the heat of the moment, can you get better explanation or proof of the kind of person that somebody is in the darkest moments of their life, where they are begging to forgive the people who are doing them wrong as they stand up for all of our rights and freedoms? Is there any other way to put it? Did
you find those videos that we saw played today to be at all exculpatory towards the defendants, in the sense that the defendants
Can't comment on that.
Okay.
Can't comment on that. You saw them, I saw them. We'll deal with the effect of them later on in the trial.
So I think that was definitely what we perceived from the message that we kept getting from the convoy leaders, was to be respectful in our assembly. And I would say that was absolutely my takeaway of Tamara and all of the convoy leaders or organizers, anybody that we did hear from. It was
peace, love.
Oh yeah,
unity.
It was peace, love, unity. I mean, I personally think that is exactly the videos that we saw of her, and how she was joyous and very well spoken.
Totally.
I think that's exactly how she was, and many of the leaders were, or people sharing their messages. And I think that's a fair, accurate representation of what it was.
Stay brave.
I will. Okay. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Good night, you guys. See you tomorrow.
Great job, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
If you folks out there appreciate our on-the-ground coverage, and we know that you do because we'll do reporting that no other news media outlet can or will, please support us. We can't do this for free. Go to Tamara trial.com and contribute what you can. Thank you.